So this is a little bit different setup today, guys. We are at a new build. We're at Jerome Village with Fischer Homes. We have a special guest with us, and we're all standing in the kitchen because
that's where parties always happen.
Right.
Oh.
That's where everyone has a party.
broadcast pod. Okay, so I'm gonna sneak around now because I am paused. What? Go, continue.
Okay.
Oh, it's like I'm gonna move over here. Can't. There we go. Nope.
And I'm going to pull up my broadcast on Facebook so that I can see if I get any
Why is your
questions.
phone
because
so-
Why
it's
is
this
it-
far away?
Sorry, people.
Best laid plans. You had everything.
Exactly.
ready to go.
There we go.
Sometimes it's an awkward start. Oh, excuse my hand. Wow. There. Okay. We good? All
So
right.
one of the issues that we've been seeing is people are having a hard time finding homes because there aren't that many homes for sale.
Right.
So one of the advantages that you can have with a new build is why wait for someone else to put their used house on the market when you can get something new.
Right. Exactly. Because while the inventory is very low, new builds are a great option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
So today we have with us, and we are in the Fischer Homes model in Jerome Village, and we have we do that every week. So we have Terri Louder with us. She is a sales rep with Fischer Homes, and she can help you build the dream home you've always wanted. So
thanks for being with
Yeah.
Oh my
us.
gosh,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
This is awesome.
Bring it in.
All right.
And as a special surprise, we're going to go on a tour of this beautiful model, which is for sale currently. And we'll take you around, and you'll have to forgive the shaky camera angle because, you know, it just is
We
what
didn't
it is.
hire
So
professionals.
we don't have our Osmo with us to keep it really steady. But anyway, that's going to be after. So let's talk new builds.
let's talk about it.
I have had clients build new. Have
I
you?
as well. Yeah.
Have you?
I've not had any clients. I've had friends build new.
Okay, okay. Have you too? Yeah.
Actually,
She's had
I have
many.
also,
Isn't that weird?
long before I got into this business, I built the last 2 homes that I'm in, that I've been in. So my experience really has come, you know, from the ground up, literally and figuratively, and it's been really a fun experience. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for
It's
being
really
here.
awesome, and I will tell you first of all, if you haven't heard about Fischer Homes, we've been in Columbus for about 9 years, but in Ohio for about 35 years. In fact, #1 builder down in the Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky area. So we are the big guys down there. We are #3, sometimes #2 here. It kind of depends on what you're looking at, but it's a great opportunity for us to be in Central Ohio with the expertise that we have.
Right.
The biggest thing that I noticed when Fischer Homes came into town is we are a production builder, like a lot of the other big guys in town, but you don't have to settle for a cookie cutter look. That's really the biggest distinction.
Do you
that
do
you'll find.
customs then?
We look custom for
They
the
look
price of
custom.
a production home.
Nice.
And you will
this is
modify
different.
floor plans
We can,
if
but
someone really wants to.
yep, we can in certain circumstances. We can certainly do that, but we also offer a lot of different options for each floor plan.
Right.
So when you look on our website, FischerHomes.com, you'll see for every single plan, there's going to be at least 4 different elevations and all distinctively different. We still won't put them side by side or across the street from one
Sure,
another,
right.
because we don't want you walking next door and walking into your house
Right,
again,
right.
right?
Mhm.
So it's really a great idea.
Well, and I think that's a good point that you bring up because oftentimes people shy away from the new builds because they don't want everything to look the same
Right.
or.
Well, that's what they have now,
What?
perhaps. I mean, many
You look
of us.
radioactive.
I'm sorry. This is going to be really off today. You're just going to have to forgive us. It's
Yes.
a whole new setup, new design. We're in a new place. And actually, Dana, this is not that house that you're asking about. He said, is this 10327 Ivy Chase?
No, but that house, I believe, is the one of our market homes that is for sale as well. I believe that that's the address that we have
Okay,
for sale.
So
okay.
tell us what
So-
a market home is. So he has a
So,
question.
yeah,
or?
No, he just said that is on the tour, the GDRA tour this Friday.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
that's
you want
what
to
it
see
is.
that one,
Yep.
Is that Dana Mac?
that is Dana Mac.
Hi, Dana.
Hey, Dana. So, anyway, back.
So we do put our inventory homes on tour. We call them market homes, but they are basically what other people call inventory homes. So as a builder, every community that we go into, we know that there are going to be people that want a new home, but maybe they don't have time to build one. It takes 6 to 8 months to build a new home with us. Maybe they're moving in from out of town. They have to settle quickly and get in. So we always have a couple that are ready to go. and that is one of them. That is our
Okay.
latest plan called the Mitchell.
Okay.
And our Mitchell is going to be fabulous. It's actually going to be the next model in Jerome Village. It will be opening up shortly. So it really is exciting.
Very
And that's
cool.
got, talk about flexibility. So in that home alone, you could have a floor plan with a first floor guest suite, with a first floor laundry and pocket office, or with a playroom or extra room flex space off of the main area. And you can have a bonus room upstairs or not, have a two-story great room. So there's just so many great things about it that are just standard options that basically you decide you choose
Very
from
cool.
at time of build.
That's
So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to build, how do you start? Like, what's the first thing, I mean, obviously with your agent, what's the first thing someone should do, and how do they really get this process going if they're thinking about it?
Well, Wayne, that's a great question, because a lot of people, first of all, don't think about it. They just think that they have to look at the MLS, and we do have those market homes on the
Sure,
MLS,
right.
but sometimes they sell before
Mhm.
somebody can see them. But it's having that conversation with your agent and saying, I see what's on the MLS, I don't think that's for me. I don't want to go into another house and have to redo everything, which is
Right.
what made me find new builds to begin with. I didn't want to start over again. It was our 6th house, I had enough of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, it's time that we just find a house that we can build a house up that will work for us. And there are just so many different options. Well, if you then will call one of us and help us, and obviously I'd hope that you
Call Terri,
Louder,
yes.
your agent, and certainly I will be there to help your clients through the process. Whether that be buying a market home, I can sell market homes all over town, or I can build in the north and northeast areas.
Okay.
If I can't build in an area that you're servicing or your client wants to be, I will put you in good hands
Sure.
with another
Sure. Okay.
sales counselor that will.
Mhm.
We're all experienced, we're all well-trained on how to step a customer through that process, and how to kind of take that fear away.
Sure.
Because that's the thing, right? Everybody, you hear these stories about, oh gosh, it broke up somebody's marriage to build a new house, and I always say, you know what, first of all, I want to know the story.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Many times in those cases where people got in over their heads because maybe they were buying their own lot and having a builder build on their lot.
Which is a completely different
Completely
kind of
different.
scenario.
Right.
Yeah. So we can cover that one of these Wine Wednesdays too, if you'd like. But we're not talking about that
We
now.
take that fear away by saying, you choose a home site with us that's already been developed,
Mhm.
and we'll find the plan that works best for you. I mean, I have well over 60 plans to choose
Wow,
from. Not
really?
in every community, but over the,
Sure.
all
And
over
when you
town.
start looking at the options in those plans, it can get overwhelming.
It
right?
can,
Mhm.
it can. And
But
so,
I think honing in on
Yeah.
what that person, what they need to make it work for them.
right.
And you can help with that. so.
Absolutely, and we do help with that. So, and I understand a lot of people think, well, everything should be on the website, I should be able to just figure it out on my own. A lot of the basic plans are on the website,
Mhm.
including like those options, structural options and things like that. But it's really hard to tell what house is gonna meet all of your needs without enlisting the aid of one of us.
Sure.
Because we know the plans inside and out.
Right.
We know when you say you want a 2-story great room, you want a laundry on the 2nd floor, we've already narrowed down to a few plans for
Sure.
you.
Mhm.
If you come to us and say, I want a wooded lot, or I want a walkout
Mhm.
lot, it may narrow down the plans even more, because again, we won't build the
Right.
same home plan directly next door or across the street.
Right.
So we're gonna help you to figure out what's most important to you, and then help fulfill that need in the right Fischer home, in the right community. And I loved your segment last week on neighborhoods. So that's always one of our first questions, is
Right.
what are you looking for in an area? And then what are you looking for in a community?
Right.
Two different
Exactly.
things, right?
Right.
Two completely different
Mhm.
things.
Yep.
I mean, walkability, do you want that? Do you want, I mean, there's so many
School
different
districts.
school
and
districts.
Amenities.
areas.
Jerome, you've got the beautiful Olympic-sized pool with the clubhouse.
Right.
You've got Pasquale's, who doesn't love Pasquale's pizza. I mean, it's just awesome to be able to tie all that together for
Right.
people. But every community has certain things about it
Absolutely.
that are special, that if you don't come in and talk to us, you probably won't ever learn on your own. And, there's some communities, I can save you $100,000 off the price of this
Wow.
community, for example.
Yeah.
So I have people that, I've been sitting in this model that's for sale for about 4 years, and now I'm in a different community.
Subliminal messages.
Remember who told you all this,
That's right.
Right here.
That's right. You heard it here first.
And so call 43 Homes first and register with them, and then they'll register with you
Yes.
with me, and we'll get you in to see it at your convenience. But
So that's an important point. is
Budget.
that- Yeah, well, budget, and when you're working with an agent and you have a relationship with someone, it's fine to go out looking at model homes.
Mhm.
take your agent with you though, so
Or
we
at least
can,
tell the
yeah,
sales
tell
counselor
the
you're
sales
working
rep.
with an agent.
you know, and it helps as your agent for us to help, you know, as well narrow down what it is, you know, what your options are to get you where you need to be. And so it's a team effort when you're building, because you've got your agent, you've got your builder rep, and we're all working together to really meet your end goals. So
And we're there with you through the entire process. So if it's going to take 6 or 8 months to get your home built, we're not just there until you sign the papers and then we walk away. All of us are here working together with you as a team to meet all your needs through that long-term process and take some of that stress off of you.
That's a
Right.
really important factor, and not only would this be the team, but also the team of Fischer Homes. So you have a design coordinator that's going to be assigned to you throughout the process. And so, talking about that process too, so once you decide on the floor plan and you go into a purchase agreement, then what happens? Well, do I have to go around to all these different places and figure out what I'm going to do? No, you go to Fischer Homes Design Center. You spend an entire day with someone who does this
Fun
all day
day.
long.
I mean, think about that. How fun is that? You get to pick every last detail that's going to go
It's awesome.
in your house. So, you know, you're looking at existing inventory and homes and you're seeing, oh, I hate that carpet and I don't like that
Exactly.
banister. You know, you get to pick all of this stuff. And when you move in, it is, you know, any house you move into is yours, but it is truly yours because you,
Right.
with your team, built it.
And those
designed
people
it.
do have experience in designing too, so it's not like you're going to get colors. I mean, you can pick whatever you want.
They will let you.
They will
let
guide you
But
so
they will
that,
guide you.
yes, you
Yes.
understand that maybe, you know, I don't know,
A
the
purple wall
black
and a red wall.
cabinets aren't going to go with the purple countertops. Well, they might, actually, that might be kind of fun.
If you want a Brady Bunch
FYI,
plan,
there are no purple colors.
oh, you don't do Uba Tuba? No. Uba Tuba, the McDonald's of
I
granite.
just wanted to make you feel bad.
Such an important 80s.
Yes.
Yeah,
Design.
so,
So it is. It's really
Yeah.
interesting too to watch how, and I usually do a preview with my clients before their design center appointment, so we kind of look and start playing and put things together. And it's fun to see how simply it comes together when everything's in one place. I can tell you, my last experience building a home, I had to go to 3 different places.
Did you really?
I had to go to a cabinet store, I had to go to a lighting store, and I had to go to their design center. And I did not have a full day with anyone.
wow.
I had to figure it out. And so when I saw what Fischer Homes did with their clients and how we really guide them through the process, and then 2 weeks later, this is really cool too. It is like building a custom home because we're going to do those prints to their specifications. We don't just take our generic prints and write their name on it
Right.
and cross things out.
Okay.
They get prints with their name on it,
Oh,
with, the,
cool.
with the design of their
Oh,
home,
that's
and they'll
great.
see the prints basically page by page, every perspective of their home possible. It's really awesome.
Well, and they're going to see all the components together, right? Because, so if you're going to the cabinet store and then you're going to the
Right.
flooring store, you don't. It's hard to remember if those 2 things are going to go together. I mean, you're going off a picture off of your phone, for
You're in
example.
different lighting, you're in everything. Yeah, it is. It's so different. So
And how many different, so I know there's 60 different options for you know,
home plans?
Home plans.
Yeah, just about that.
So how many different models do you have in Central Ohio?
That's a great
that
question.
can-
I just heard somebody ask that the other day. We're always adding more. We just added 2 more last weekend,
Okay.
believe it or not. So I think we're up to 17 models in the Columbus area. They're not all in the same collection, so there's different collections. We start with our Grand Estate Custom Homes, which
Right.
is really as custom as we can get. And those homes are beautiful. We have one for sale, for example, in Heritage Preserve, which is our flagship community.
Okay.
It's our Jameson. It is, if you want to go, you know, people talk about the parade. We are in the parade this year, but it is really cool to just walk through some of these amazing homes. And we're open every weekend. You don't have to pay. You don't have to park in a big
Right.
parking lot. You can come and see it anytime. And so that home in Heritage is open. That's the top of our lines. And then we have the Masterpiece, which is what we built here, and many other communities. And then below that is our designer level, which is just one step down. And again, we're trying to fit a budget in a community in most cases,
Right.
so that's why we changed
Let me hit
the
that.
type of collection. And then below that is our Maple Street, which is our starter homes, basically. Wayne and I worked with a client last year who had lost out on a bidding war or something. I can't, was that?
He offered, we went in contract.
Oh, that's right.
And it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was feeling pretty down, you know, at that time because, you know, it just, the appraisal came back
That's
low.
right, that's right. I
And,
think of another
um,
situation.
But you know, with the market home in that community, I mean, it worked out. It couldn't have worked out more perfectly.
Yeah.
So, you know, he still got his home, and he got everything and more, I think, than he ever thought he could get.
Yeah, I remember his eyes when we were touring that house and seeing how big the bedrooms were, and the laundry room was upstairs, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is so new, this is so great. So he made an offer that night, and it was accepted, and that was really fun to be able to help.
It's pretty cool. So, and it's fun as a realtor, and you know, to watch people go through this process, because you know, they'll drive you drive by and you watch them, you know, as when it's a hole in the ground, and then you see the foundation and the studs, and then you start getting the pretty stuff. So it's really a fun process.
Was the house that he built already done, or did he get to pick any of the finishes?
So their market homes.
Because sometimes that
I'll
happens.
let you tell us.
Yeah, so great question, because it wasn't even, I think it might have, I don't think it had been dug yet. I think we dug like the next week or something.
Right.
But I was able, when I found out that that Wayne wanted to show it, I basically just called somebody in that neighborhood that had the same kind of house with similar selections.
Okay.
Not exact, because no two are exact.
Right.
So I called, and I didn't know this person. I said, would you be willing to show your home tonight? And she said, absolutely. And she showed it like she was listing it, right?
Yeah, she had all the lights on, she had candles.
She took her dogs and
Love
left and went
it.
across the street, so we had, you know, time to shop. And it was so nice. Cut her off the wine.
Let me off.
We'll just put this
Half a
over
glass.
here.
But
Wow.
it was a great experience because he got to see it with furniture in it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, what does that tell you about our homeowners? If they're that
They're
willing to do
proud.
that? She got a $25 gift card
Did
to
she?
Applebee's because that's where her and her son like to go. But, I mean, that was nothing for us to do from her. And she really said, I'm so happy that he liked it. He's going to buy the house down the street.
Oh.
So hopefully they met. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure they did. And
but
it's
so
super nice when they do that, because some people have a hard time visualizing
Right.
in the end what it's going to be. So for
Right.
him, I think it really helped seal the deal for him, because you know, it wasn't just an empty piece of land. You know,
But
it was
picture.
something real. You know,
Walking through it and seeing it and feeling the space,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So between the models and, you know, when they're able to do that and arrange a tour for you in an existing homeowner's home, so you can see, if you have a hard time visualizing what it can be, there are ways for you to get around that. So don't get locked up in if you have a hard time imagining what the end result will be.
Well, I was just going to ask that. So do you find that people get intimidated? I mean, do you think that people, or would you all, feel that you don't want to do the new build process because you just cannot imagine the floor plan or the colors, or, I mean, what is this whole thing?
There's so many
in
things to
all
choose
that?
from.
Right.
Right. So here's what's nice about working with a production builder. Because we are building in 25 different communities across the city, I can usually find one that's in process
Yes.
that I don't even have to bother a customer to show.
Right.
Until it closes, it's ours, right? So we can show it. And so that's my first goal, looking for a model, first of all. If we don't have the model, which not, you know, a lot of times we don't, I can go and look at a report of all the homes that are being built right now, what stage they're in. So it might be a drywall stage, and I'll offer that, and I'll say, would it help to see it in drywall stage? And with me there, I can kind of help them to see what it is going to be like beyond drywall. But if I have a homeowner in that same area that I know is willing and able, and especially if I've worked with them, I know that they're, you know, going to be comfortable in doing it in most cases. Some people with kids don't want to, and I respect that.
Right, sure.
But for most people, they go, oh my gosh, yeah, I've got a couple of homeowners that just tell everybody, you know, that can sell in that neighborhood, oh, just call me whenever you want to show us all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome, it's right. And they're our best referral. You know, can you imagine hearing from a customer that is just gleaming with pride in their home, and they're saying, you know, I didn't think I could do this either.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Well, it really feels like you're getting more than a home or even a neighborhood. You're really getting a community in these areas.
You really are.
With not just the amenities, but just with everyone there who's enjoyed the process
Right.
and been there through it as well.
It is a big collective experience, because everybody in that community has gone through it. But
You
yeah,
bond
so-
through it, you know. I mean, sometimes you bond through bad things in life, but this is a good thing
Right.
you get to bond through, and you're really curious. I
Sure.
remember the first time I was building, I actually met one of my future neighbors walking through my house
Oh, did
one
you?
night.
Yeah.
And it turned out that I had already, well, I didn't know her, but she was at the bus stop every morning, and I realized we knew each other.
Oh, small
I mean, it
world.
was, and then she was buying next door to me,
Oh,
so we ended up being
wonderful.
best friends. you know, that experience is something that you're very curious about. Well, what did those people choose and why? And I want to see what their house looks like, and you know, I want to know who's living next to me.
Yep.
It's not like going into an existing neighborhood.
No.
I can tell you, when it was the first time in my life that I wasn't living in Jane's house or Paul's house or somebody else's house. It was Terri and Rick's house, and we really liked that. It was fun. Now somebody else is in Terri and Rick's
Well,
house.
I was just going to say that.
But it's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
So once you've come to the, you know, design center, you've picked out your choices. So what are the things at that point the homeowner should expect, you know, during the process?
That's a great question. So I don't go away. All right, even if you want me to, I'm not going to go away. So basically, my job as a sales counselor is to stay in constant communication. We try to get in touch at least once a week with, you know, some kind of update, whether your plans have gone to zoning or your plans are in the developer's hands right now. These are things that they want us to look at, or you know, hey, the house is next door going up. You might want to drive by and see what's going on, you know, in the neighborhood. I like to give them some kind of feedback of what's going on, because many people aren't even in the same area that they're building in. Some are out of town.
Yeah.
So I'm sending pictures of the neighborhood and their houses, it's going along. I just took some pictures today that I was out here of a home that is getting their foundation poured right now. Well, not everybody gets to see everything.
Right.
So I've had people that have made little slideshows of the whole thing afterwards,
Cool.
based on just the text I sent them.
So fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It really is, and that's something I didn't have when I built last. So, you know, we didn't have email
Right.
that easily. It was 13 years ago. We didn't communicate in that way,
Sure.
right? It just wasn't. Or if we did, they didn't. So I just think it's fun, and it's a fun part of the process. It's watching everything come together and something you're building. And people have a lot of pride in that. I've had parents share it with their out-of-town kids, or maybe it's, you know, grandparents sharing their new adventure, and you know, who doesn't love to have something new like that to talk about, right?
Right.
And then I'm giving you updates on what to expect next. So next, you know, after it goes through the zoning and the development review and all that, and you get the permits, then as soon as I get notice of those permits being approved, I say, you're going to be hearing from your superintendent. He's going to want to meet you at the model, and he's going to, you know, find a time that works for you between 8 and 5, and we'll get together and talk about your plans again. It's been a couple of months. We want to refresh your memory on everything. We want you to look at these plans, these blueprints again with him, and he'll just talk about the experience a little bit. You know, it's not something we have to do. Certainly, he knows how to build their house, and our plans are really specific, right? But it's a great bonding experience for them to get to know their builder.
Right.
And so it's another point of contact if they have a question about construction, if they have a question about where they are in the process. He's going to be giving them updates also.
Right.
So it's not just, I wonder what Gary looks like, or, you know, whatever. They know who this person is.
And you can go at any time to see the build happening.
So basically what we say is go with us.
Right.
Because it's
Okay,
not
right,
safe
sure,
condition
sure.
for
Yeah.
people. It's an OSHA work site. But
Sure.
so Gary would also, in this case I'm using Gary because he handles the Jerome Village and he's awesome. But he would say the next meeting we'll have together, unless you have a question during the process, will be your pre-drywall. So we'll walk through the house together. You can take pictures of basically the inside of your home before we put the drywall up, and we'll talk about where you want that outlet above the TV, or where you want the outlet in the middle of the floor so you can have one for your sofa table and things like that. He's just want to, again, have that point of contact with the customer, and that's really helpful. People really enjoy that versus just going on their own and going, I wonder what they're going to do next, you know? So they really do have a good idea of what's coming next and that type of thing. And then once drywall happens, we're about 6 weeks from closing. So then we'll be talking about the financing.
So that's a
And
good.
then we say hello again.
Yes.
Cheers.
So that leads into another good question. How do you finance a new
Yeah,
build?
it's a great question. So there's a number of ways to handle financing, as you guys know. There's lots of mortgage companies, there's lots of banks, there's lots of different opportunities, and we say that all of those are open to you. We will never tell them that they have to do it a certain way. However, building a home is different than buying a home that's ready to close in 30 days or 45 days, right? So what Henry Ford many years ago, Henry Fischer, when he saw that, you know, people were struggling with some of the ways big banks were processing loans with new builds, he said, why are we doing this? Why are we making this so hard for our customers? So he now sits on the board of a bank called Victory Mortgage. And it's basically with the idea that these people handle 90% of our loans.
Right.
And they know the process that we're going to put their customer through. And they sit in on our backlog meetings every week.
Right.
Our loan officers actually sit in the same office as us, and they sit in on those meetings, and they know when the house has gone to drywall, and when, if they haven't locked in a rate, especially with rates going up like they are now, you know, they can actually do an 8-month lock with Victory.
Wow.
So
Really?
it's awesome.
Wow.
So
That's a great
That's
opportunity.
pretty
it is, it is. Now, it's about 1/8% higher than what the going rate is, but here's the best part. So say somebody buys a house from me, I just sold one on Sunday.
Okay.
They locked in on one day, because they're afraid of this March
Sure,
15th
right.
deadline, right, that everybody's been talking about. Who knows what'll happen, but they locked in. They have 8 months to close on that loan. Our process is 6 to 8 months, so there's, you know, and
Yeah,
they've already made
yeah.
their design center appointments. We're already on track, so it's not, you know, shouldn't be a problem. But what's nice about that is 10 days before closing. So who knows, in this lifetime, we've seen ups and downs.
Right.
What if it does come down again? 10 days before closing, if it's down below what they locked in at, they get to float it down.
Really?
Oh, that's
Ding, ding, ding.
wonderful.
Isn't that
Wow.
amazing?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So it
That's
really
pretty
is,
amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's great security for us,
Right.
knowing that our customer is going to be able to afford the home if they choose to lock it in. And it gives so much peace of mind for people. And then, again, opens up the opportunity to build, because again, people say, well, I don't want to build, I don't know what mortgage rates are going to be like in 2
Right.
months.
So, do they make, so you don't make any payments? You apply for your loan just like you would if you're buying existing construction, or
Great question.
existing property.
Mhm.
So, you're getting a construction loan, but you do not make any payments until after closing, correct?
No
Or-
construction, well, you don't make any payments, you do put a 5% deposit down on a
Okay.
masterpiece home. It's
Earnest
different.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically going to us, we hold it with, because that's your assurance, that's our assurance that you're
Sure.
going to buy this
Mhm.
home.
Right.
That something else isn't gonna come along, where you
Right.
change your mind
Right.
and decide, well, maybe I don't want that one after all.
Right.
You know, we don't want
It's
that.
only fair.
We're gonna build this home to your specifications, we take 95% of the risk. I think that's a good way
Sure.
to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but another payment is not due until closing.
Right.
So they can also take that 6 to 8 months to save some money, right?
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So maybe they don't know how much they have for a down payment, they still have to get pre-qualified with Victory. But they, you know, maybe that amount, especially if they sell their house right away, or sometimes it's just because people are more motivated,
Right.
and they start putting more and more money away toward that down payment, which maybe gets them, you know, to 20% down or whatever. I mean, that, you know, there's lots of
And
options.
will the folks at Victory, will they work with them to put themselves in a better financial situation? Like, just give them some pointers, like, you know, if you just do these couple things,
Absolutely.
you'll be in a much better situation in 6 to 8 months, and you may be able to float down to that better rate.
TJ, that's a great question. So Tammy Covey is who I work with at Victory, and
That's who
she's
my client used. She
been
did a
in the
great
business
job,
for
so.
much longer than I, probably about 35 years. She's awesome. But what she has done with a lot of people, especially if there were credit issues and things like that. And so some people say, well, I just got to pay off all my debt and then I'll be okay. She'll say, no, don't do that. If you do this versus that, you'll have a better credit rating. In a month's time, you could have a better credit rating. And guess what? They're going to check it again before closing, and you'll get a better rate
Right.
if they qualify for a better rate at that time. So she'll definitely step them through that and tell them, give them guidance. Now, nobody can force them to do anything,
Right.
but it gives them, you know, a little bit more assurance of what they should do.
So you brought up something in the course of that answer that also I think is a good question about, you have a home to sell and you
Yeah.
want to build. So do builders, or does Fisher specifically, can you have a home sale contingency, and how does that work?
You can, and again, this was based on my experience. Both times that I built was not a seller's market like this, and I had kids that were going to go to college, and I needed to not take that risk, and I thought, well, we don't really have to move in both cases, we were just moving up. And so I did build in both cases with different builders, different production builders in town, and it was contingent to sell. So that made sense for me. Now, it kind of has to, you have to look at it from your own circumstances. In a market like this, it's not always the smartest way to go, because what is definitely going to happen in today's market is your house is going to sell right away, and it will mean a double move.
Right.
In both my cases, we ended up in an apartment for 4 months, exactly,
Sure.
4 times. Well, it wasn't horrible. It was a good way to purge and to, you know, make the move a little bit simpler in some ways.
Right.
But it is a hassle, and some people, especially with both spouses working, it's difficult to do that sometimes. So we say that's going to be between you and the bank, whether you do contingency or not. Now, what a lot of people don't know about, and people are starting to learn, is there's a thing called a bridge loan. So in case your house doesn't sell, and Victory does do bridge loans a lot, or at least they can, many times in this market, again, they don't have to, But most of the times that I've seen them are when people are moving in from out of town and maybe they're not coming from as strong of a market. And so they can offer that bridge loan so that money basically comes out of the equity of your existing
Sure.
home to put down on the new
Right.
home. But otherwise, yes, you can do a contingency. It does mean you have to list your house right away. It has to go with a licensed realtor in the MLS. And that way we get some assurance that you are serious about selling your home. We're
Right.
going to just wait and see, right? And then we would, release the contingency when you sell the home.
Okay.
If the home doesn't sell though, what happens, right?
Good question.
So this is what I think we do really well. It's a no-risk guarantee, basically. You will not lose a penny of your deposit. Basically what happens is at time of drywall, we're going to list the house in the MLS, and you'll see this. We have a home in Ballantrae right now that was very similar to this, and it's being listed now because the financing didn't go through on that case because they couldn't get their house removed from the contingency. So we list it on the MLS, and then when it goes into contract, you would get your deposit back.
Okay.
Okay? Not when it gets closed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when it goes into contract.
That's good.
Isn't that fair?
That's great.
That's very
Mhm.
fair, and that's a
Absolutely.
wonderful.
We don't hold
Yeah.
anything back. The only thing you might lose in that is if you locked in a loan rate. Obviously, you don't get that lock-in amount back, it's usually 1%, unless you close on that mortgage. So
Right.
if you're really that worried about it, don't lock
Sure.
in.
Right, right. And I think it's important to note not every builder does that. So,
Right.
there are builders that will not do a home sale contingency at all.
Or they'll keep them.
Or, right, exactly. So,
Right.
FYI.
And that is an amazing benefit because, in this market, your home is more than likely going to sell. And like Terry said, probably sell pretty quickly.
Especially if
so.
you have good realtors.
Right.
If
Like
you
us.
sell your home right away, we do have resources that we can put you in contact with for some short-term housing.
Right.
I know of a couple different places where you can get that.
Sure. And then, so what if someone, to accept, again, to repeat, to accept the contingency, the builder's going to want to see it for sale in the MLS. So don't get the idea that, well, we'll just wait. We're going to wait 4 months so we can try to time this. Yeah, that's not
That
going
would
to
be a non-contingent contract, which
Right.
some people do, because
Right.
quite frankly, they just don't want to move twice.
Sure.
That doesn't mean they're still not going to call you and say, in 3 months, I'm going to list my house,
Right.
and make sure I get it
I
sold.
think it's important to know though, with any home sale and purchase, if you're doing both, timing's probably not going to be on your side.
It's very difficult.
It just know that. In the market we have right now, stuff is selling fast, it's closing fairly quickly, because sellers can pretty much pick and choose what they want, and if someone can close in 2 weeks or 30 days, they're going to do it. So oftentimes, it's just not going to happen. So
there are things we can do, with your contract, we can try to build in some
on the
possession
existing side,
on your existing
right,
side.
not on this.
Right, yeah,
part of
we
it.
can build in some possession time, and occasionally the stars align. I just
Yes.
had
Yeah.
one where there were 3 homes that, in the course of this, that closed on the same day, and everybody only ended up having to move once. And boy, did I hold my breath the whole 6 weeks of that
No
contract.
pressure.
But, yeah,
I've seen it happen too.
but because there's lots
Yeah.
of things that can happen in the course of a home sale.
Just don't expect it,
Yeah.
don't expect it.
Set your
Prepare yourself
expectations
for the
low.
worst situation,
It
but
might be in that case looking at the and you're not calling them inventory homes.
Market homes,
The market
yeah.
homes. It might make more sense to look at a market home in that case, which there should be some in every community you're
Yeah.
interested in.
And the biggest difference with the market home, it's been designed by that same design
Mhm.
coordinator that works with our homeowners, and she knows, or he knows, no, in this case it's she, but basically, they know what people are looking for. And
Right.
they always add a little extra to our market homes too.
Right.
Things that maybe you wouldn't have paid
Right.
for if you were building it on your own. And it is a negotiable price, because it's out on the MLS.
Sure.
We do
Right.
take offers. Now, we're still
Okay.
not gonna give it away, because we're not gonna hurt the
No,
cost
of
for our
course.
neighborhood. But there are some cases where, this particular home we talked about is for sale. This is a model home, so it's different than a market home or a build-to-contract home. It is 4 years old, almost 4.5 years old,
Mhm.
and therefore it is as is. Now, that does not mean as is with furniture, but it does mean, the beautiful brick that we see on the
Man, that would be
backsplash. We
nice,
don't
though.
Right?
reclaimed wood, things like that are gonna stay, everything that's attached is basically staying. But it's nice because you can just move right in if you like that style.
Right.
Very rarely do we have model homes that go for sale. We only are doing this because we're opening up a new one, because we're finished in this section. So it is
Right.
a great
It's hard to
opportunity.
believe it's been 4 years, because I was on this, I think, when it was first
Yeah, I bet you were.
opened.
Yeah.
Should we walk
Time
around?
flies.
Yeah, so.
I mean,
Well, but
real
real quick,
quick,
is there,
yes.
before we walk around, is there anything that you wish that our clients knew going into the
Yes,
new home
I was
sale
gonna ask,
process?
like, let's cover everything
Yeah,
first
let's
before we
make
do,
sure,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it goes along with things, whether you're buying new or used homes, it's basically, you've got to compromise somewhere. You know, people come into this model all the time, say, if you could build this for me for $400,000, buy it today. Well, I can, but not in this neighborhood in Dublin
Right.
schools, right? So you've got to look at the whole picture, but again, be open to having that conversation. Also, do you really know what you can afford? I find that many times people just think that because they are selling a house that's maybe $325, that they shouldn't go more than $350 or $380
Right.
or whatever.
It is
And
an
honestly,
arbitrary number.
it is a very arbitrary, and you've got to remember there was a lot of, because of the recession, there was a point where the prices went down,
Mhm.
right? And then they went up, and then they really went up, and an average of a 6% per year, you know, that is a big difference. And you
Right.
don't always get that in an existing home, so don't be surprised when you find out what the homes are selling for. But, you know, again, remember, you're talking about all new efficiencies in the home, your HVAC, everything is brand new. Everything's under warranty.
Right.
Your structural warranty is going to be in place. We offer a 10-year structural warranty through a third
I was
party.
gonna ask that.
Yeah,
a
let's
little bit
talk about the
more.
Yeah.
warranties too, right?
Yeah. So, and that's really important to us. So there's a lot of builders that offer maybe a 15-year or 20-year, but when you ask them, well, who's backing that? And it's the builder.
Mhm.
Well, we all know many builders have left Central Ohio.
Right.
Maybe not even gone out of business, but left Central Ohio.
Right.
Some have gone out of business. Henry, again, thought that made sense to offer a third party, which we pay for. So we're not just going to back our own product, but we're going to ask for that as well and give you that assurance. There's also other things, and this goes along with having that partnership. So I send reminders out as soon as somebody moves into the house. Make sure you register your HVAC with Goodman, and they will double the warranty to 10 years.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I mean, that's peace of mind, right?
Mhm.
Because when you're buying a used home, how long is it going to be before you have to replace that?
Well,
Well, when you buy,
warranty you get,
yeah,
1 year.
1 year. Unless you want to renew at the end of that,
And
then
you better
you
have
can
money
have
in
it
your
as long
budget
as you
for that,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
If
right.
you're going to do that.
And you're not
So-
getting structural warranties, you're not getting,
Yeah, so
you
if your
know.
refrigerator breaks.
15-year
so-
waterproofing on the basement, for example. I mean, things like that that you don't know when you're buying an existing home. I know there's disclosures and things like that, but mine happened in one of my old homes. It happened like a week after we moved in, and it had never happened before. It was the root system that basically had
Oh
come
my
through the
gosh,
pipes,
wow.
and my basement was all flooded. So you never know, right?
Right.
And that's the
Right.
kind of assurance that we
Right.
can give you, is you're going to be under warranty for that first year on everything, and then far beyond for other things. So,
Right.
you know, it really is a good question to ask and compare. One of the other things that I can't help but mention is, you know, when people say, well, what's different? I built with 2 other builders that were still in existence when I went into this business.
Okay.
And I didn't go to work for them. I went to work for Fischer because I really like the distinctives of Fischer. We don't look like a production builder, but we are. So the benefit is you're going to be on time and on budget, and you're going to know what that budget is in the first month. There's no surprises. The other things are, you know, we are a family-owned company. Henry still goes into the office in Cincinnati, and I think that's pretty cool. I'm sure he doesn't have to, but he really loves the business. And he was an engineer. He's a value engineer, and he really has value engineered the home. And he always has his focus on getting the most for our money in our homes without sacrificing quality. And what's really important to us, because we're not publicly held, is the customer satisfaction. And so for us, we do value that. We ask it three different times in the process. Now, at closing, who isn't happy at closing?
Right.
Everybody, they got their keys, they can't wait to move in. Well, okay, maybe not. Most people
I'm
are
not
really
saying any of my
excited. Well, maybe we need to work on this more.
Right.
Because that's usually a really happy day. You know, they've made it.
It always
finish
is.
line, it's time to move
It's a
in.
celebration.
I'm just being
yeah.
funny.
She is
I'm
fun.
funny.
You are. I'll give you that. Especially when she's done with her lunch.
TJ is too.
Mine's just sitting back here,
We
you can't
finished a
tell.
while ago.
I'm slacking.
But we also are going
Look,
to
you
ask the same questions 90 days after they move in. They're going to get surveyed again, and then 1 year after closing. And what we find is our customers are just as thrilled with us at that point, and we have a 97% customer satisfaction rate.
That's fantastic.
It's
Yeah,
huge.
that's huge.
That's what we
Yeah.
strive for.
Yeah.
So you'll still hear from me a year later and sometimes long after that
Right.
saying, you know, how do you feel about your home now? And what would you have done differently? And quite frankly, that's how we've grown into new plans, by surveying our existing customers.
Right,
after
and I
35
think that's a
years.
really important point, because when you are buying existing, you're just not gonna, you know, you're in, you're there, you live, life happens. With a new build, it's a much longer process. The appointments are much longer. You're spending hours rather than just minutes walking through a home. I mean, you know, with the design, with the building, with the planning. Even your first appointment usually is
sure.
a much
To
longer
find out what
experience.
your opinions are.
And things can go wrong. I mean, you know, there can be
Weather
can
Yeah.
lengthen the process of the build, closing, and so I kind of, do you feel like maybe with a new build, there's more chance of people having dissatisfaction?
There is, because if you think about it, it's a man-made product, and
Right.
it's not by one man. Even though we have a superintendent that
Right.
walks every single home, every single room, every single day, that's our
Mhm.
motto, basically. He's gonna do that in every home that he's building. There's still gonna be things that are wrong. And,
Right.
and sometimes the customer notices it before we do.
Sure,
you know,
sure,
even though
because they're
he's-
looking for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
They know their
human
house better
nature,
than anybody,
right?
right?
And they,
So, we always say don't judge on what you see, judge on our reaction to it. You know, we
Sure.
are going to take care of anything that's not done properly in the process.
Right.
And then beyond, obviously, if anything does happen. Here's some assurance, though. You're building in, what is this, 2017 now?
Mhm.
This is not even like it was 10 years ago. The
Right.
building codes are much more stringent, and they are looking at us at, you know, at a higher level than ever before. And codes have gone up. So an R49 in the ceiling, how many of you have had used homes that had R49 in the ceiling?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Unless the homeowner really got into it when
Right.
gas
Yeah,
prices
sure.
were high, but
Right.
they paid for that, right? So, I mean, things like that really do make a difference, and then knowing that you've got inspectors
Mhm.
watching over the job the whole time.
Right.
I mean, before anything goes down into the foundation, it's inspected, the plumbing's inspected,
Mhm.
the HVAC is inspected, and believe me, they do get called back. The subs do get called
Sure.
back on things, you know,
Sure.
because there's sometimes it's a jurisdiction thing, and we've got a new sub that hasn't worked in Union County, for
Mhm.
example. Here's a great example of what Fischer does, though. I love this. So I want to say it was in the, well, I won't even say that, but it's been quite some time that we've been offering the passive radon system as a standard in our homes.
Really?
Now, since we've been here in Union County and we've been building in Marysville and Jerome Village, it is now code, because they basically said
Really?
Fischer Homes can do this.
Oh, I did not know
Oh.
that. Interesting.
Well, that's
So
great,
maybe
because radon's
eventually-
always a concern.
So
for
the
us.
other builders are like, damn you, Fisher.
No, they just raise their prices
This
to
is
accommodate.
true.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But
Nothing's
yeah.
free, that is
Nothing's
true.
free. But, you know, what we do, another step, and we always have, is, and again, this goes along with my personal reminder to my homeowner, that if they will have a professional inspector, radon inspector come in within the first 60 days of living in their home, they have it professionally inspected. If it comes back higher, 4 or higher, we come in and further mitigate at no cost.
Oh, wonderful.
Boom,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? It's done.
And radon is such a hot button thing
It
in
is a hot
Central Ohio
topic.
because it's very prevalent here. And, you know, the EPA, it's what, 4 epicuries, or I don't even know that that's the right word, but per liter. And if it's higher than 4,
It's
because
recommended.
everybody's testing for it, you're either going to get the seller to pay for it
Yeah.
at, you know, before closing, or when you go to sell, you're probably going to have to
Right.
pay for
Mhm.
it because everybody's testing for it now. So the fact that it's already built into your home with a new build is another
Yeah.
added
And
bonus.
you have that assurance that if you do have it, it's gonna be remedied.
Yep.
Not later on when you go to sell the house, right?
Right, right.
So it does
Right.
make a difference.
Do you want to take a look at the beautiful home? This
Yeah,
beautiful
let's
home?
do it.
Let's
I'd
take a
love to show
look.
it to you.
So we're in Jerome Village in Dublin. So it's a little northeast of, that's northwest, I'm
Northwest.
sorry, of like, you know, Muirfield kind of area.
Yeah,
So
we're just north of Tartan Ridge,
Yes.
just
Mhm.
across the street is Tartan Ridge, and this beautiful model sits right on Persimmon. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it.
And this
from
one is for
outside.
sale.
for sale, price is
Through Terri at Fischer
$489.
Homes. In fact, follow me, Terri at Fischer Homes on Facebook.
There you
There
go.
you
I'll follow you.
And let me know if you're interested, and of course, I'm gonna make sure that we
Sure.
get these guys involved
Right,
too.
right.
But I
So-
think it's a lot of fun.
$489, is that right?
$49,990 is the
Okay.
list price.
100,000
That's in the MLS.
low.
Well, not
Or
this
no,
one.
not this one. Oh, I'm sorry.
This one would price out, if you were building it new in another community nearby, it'd be about $540.
Okay,
Wow,
so that's
so you're
significant,
nice.
yeah.
And
Instant
you
equity.
cannot get some of these features, like the brick backsplash and the brick wall. And
You
the-
have to see the brick.
the reclaimed wood, so it really is worth more than that. So, but we
All right.
consider it used because we've been living in it, selling out of it for
Sure.
4 years.
So
So
now
it
you'll.
is as
Oh,
it is though, like the carpet and everything you get.
Not
what's
the
in
furniture.
house.
Correct.
No
Yeah.
furniture.
No furniture.
Yeah.
No
Alright, well,
furniture.
we're gonna go walk around, so.
yeah.
I'm
So
gonna-
we've never done this one before. so
Please
you guys
excuse
will
my
all have to excuse us.
momentary close-up.
Can we start at the front door?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do it.
Let's do it. However you want to take us through.
Terry's.
I've never done that. before in this
Yowza.
model.
Alright, so we're walking to the front door.
Nice face, right?
And maybe when you leave, we could, well, we've actually put a rendering of it on the announcement, I believe is the rendering of this home, so.
Yeah.
Hi to TJ.
Say hi to
This
Wayne.
is the foyer, behind us is a powder room. As you can see, there's a beautiful leaded glass on this front door. There's a lot of extras in this house that kind of go unnoticed, and, you know, when you come in, we'd love to show you a little bit more about them. The hand-scraped hickory shaw floor is beautiful. A lot of people really love this, and then, of course, the study that can give
Hi,
just the
Jenny.
right space.
Hi.
It is funny to watch all three of you do this.
Right? Wait till they see the setup that we
I know.
actually have going. All right, you guys go.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get a behind the scenes view of our wine.
The production company, right?
Yes.
You are. So this is a beautiful great room, open concept into the kitchen. You know, you've got a 2-story great room here with a beautiful fireplace with the cultured stone and the reclaimed wood going on. That is not wallpaper, that is no.
Absolutely
tricky eye, it's
beautiful.
gorgeous. And that would, of course, come with the home. The spring arch in the window is a beautiful feature here as well. And it is just a great size. People say this house is just right size. It's not too big, not too small.
It's very comfortable.
Isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you get the vaulted ceilings in the high cathedral, and it's not, I mean, it just feels so massive.
Sure.
One of my
Oh,
favorites is
come
always the
on,
double
you
oven.
guys.
Yeah, there
Don't
you
make
go.
me be in your video.
I'm really glad I don't have to be that way, but yeah, the double oven certainly is something that a lot of people like. One being convection too, so it's nice in the summer, you don't have to overheat the kitchen. These, I don't know how much they'll show up in the video, but the French vanilla glazed maple cabinets, this is the highest level cabinetry we have, and it's gorgeous.
And look at how much storage as well.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
know.
this is a walk-in pantry, this is not just a reach-in, you guys.
It is huge.
Lots of
Wow.
great space there. Of course, the refrigerator would even come with this house, which we don't normally do when we're building. So, and then a gas cooktop, KitchenAid cooktop, and then a vented microwave, so the hood is vented to the outside.
Look at these great lights.
You know, that's a plus. A lot of people don't realize that would be an extra
Yeah, it is.
in a new build.
And do you love these?
I do.
Do you realize what those are? It took me 3 years to figure out.
Are they golf ball?
They are golf baskets, golf balls.
Oh,
Isn't that?
oh, that's
I
so
didn't
funny.
even notice it till you said that.
I just think, and that's our decorator for you. She always takes something out of the box like that.
That's fantastic.
And again, things that you wouldn't get in a normal,
No.
because you're getting the extra
You're
decorative.
getting the extra touch, absolutely. Joy Perkins is our designer, and she is amazing. You've got the bump out in the morning room here. I don't know how much you can see that. And there is a patio off the back as well, if you want to take a quick peek at that.
Oh, there's our setup, see?
Okay, maybe we're not going to unlock the door right now. I'm not sure.
Okay, well,
Well, you can see it if you look
Sorry.
through the door.
Maybe I'm just not strong enough.
And that's something also you don't normally get is a patio.
No.
You
So
can
get
with
like a
us, but
scoop,
yeah, you would definitely get that. And some great windows. We have an orchard over here next to us, so great.
Oh,
great
is that?
views.
Yeah. Nice
It's
privacy
still part of
during the
Jerome,
summer.
so Jerome maintains it. You don't have to.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
And then you can see it's the open concept. This is a 5-level split. This is our most popular plan. So let's start, we can go downstairs and look at the included rec room.
Okay.
And if you're thirsty.
Ah,
I fake wine over there, that's what I should have been holding.
You should have.
Look at this great space down here.
Isn't
Plenty
this
of
awesome? Some
room.
9-foot ceilings down here, and that's included in the clay plans, but isn't this beautiful with the extra light? Who wouldn't want this space?
Yeah, those windows are pretty fantastic. So,
And you
excuse
got
me
some
for
beautiful
getting in your
evergreen
videos,
space
but
there.
with better light.
Oh, there's the fake wine.
Yep.
It is wine Wednesday.
See, well, on mine Wednesday, we don't do that. We do the real stuff. Usually.
Usually.
Hasn't been not yet.
Do you want to see the basement? It's unfinished. We don't have to.
We can pass on
it.
it.
Skip the basement.
Yeah.
That's fine. As we go up the stairs to the left, you're gonna see a little drop zone. Now, normally it would come right off the garage. That garage is now our sales center, so it doesn't look like a garage, but that would be the family foyer or drop zone area. We put some extra cabinetry in there and some more quartz countertop and just beautiful. Lots of great storage.
So the garage is carpeted.
We will probably put a nice garage door on there that you can
Go ahead.
bring
So
two
that
cars
they
in.
will take that stuff out.
We will.
But you'll actually have a drywall garage.
You would,
Like-
yeah,
Mhm.
and insulated, because it stays warm in there. Say hi to Karen and
Do I say
Jason.
hi? Introduce yourself. Jason from Fischer Homes. And what do you do?
Sales.
And when are you here?
I'm here every day except for Monday, Tuesday.
So if you come here, you can meet Jason. He's here. You feel awkward? I can't tell.
What's going up?
Yeah, let's go up a level.
Okay, bye.
I'll let you guys go first.
Go ahead, Jenny.
I'm gonna let you go
Oh.
No watch off.
I've been.
Well,
That's kind of unavoidable.
shot right now. Those are really nice shoes.
first. You need a screen.
Oh my goodness.
Cover or something.
So this is a fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Sweet.
Isn't this a beautiful
Wow.
office retreat? You got the double doors that really opens it up and makes it feel like a retreat
Here's
setting.
the
You've got
closet.
his and her closets. Beautiful
Oh.
sitting area.
Look at those windows.
Isn't that fantastic? Oh, are the lights off in there? We can turn lights on. There you go. Thank you. So you'll see the other closets in there.
This is going to be the funniest video to watch later. Like the three of us walking around.
Built-in sitting area in the master.
No editing. It's live. It is all happening right now. So, just wait.
Fenced off or walled off water closet. Second closet.
Get out.
Did you see the other closet in there?
Mhm.
Awesome.
You don't have to fight over
No
closet space.
encroachment issues. I love that.
Encroachment issues.
I mean, we have to do the standard
let me
house
show you
hunters
how
joke,
they
Yes,
right?
please.
This is my
So look
closet.
at the
Yes.
beautiful pocket door.
Pocket door.
Very custom feature. Isn't that beautiful?
That's
What a great
fantastic.
space saving.
Yes.
Wait till you guys see this.
Oh, you even have your
We always do a separate commode room.
Uh,
That beautiful deluxe shower. You gotta zoom in on all that fluorescent
I
tile.
love the stone.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh my gosh.
extra storage.
So,
That's probably about $4,000.
This is our
in grand.
Upstairs laundry, very convenient for all the bedrooms.
Yep. Just to give you an idea. Plenty of space for both. You like
We're
that?
touring the
little room?
home. Hello.
Hello, everybody. All right, I guess it's my turn to go first.
Sorry,
Here's our laundry
TJ.
room right next to the
oh,
master.
so what floor would this be called?
Well, I guess it's the
2
second
and a
floor.
half? This is the half floor.
Two great sized bedrooms up here. Huge closets.
Many times, yeah. Yeah, isn't it nice? Because this way everybody has easy access to it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. I said two bedrooms up here. There are three.
And drop off their laundry. There's no going up and down the stairs. It's
Right.
great.
Yeah, and I always love the layout of a 5-level split. I mean, it's just not a massive amount of
You
stairs.
have to
going up.
take in this view. I mean, isn't this gorgeous?
We love that.
And this is the view you get every time you walk out of your bedroom in the morning. I just love it.
Oh, I just love this little porthole window.
So that comes with the elevation, the coastal classic elevation, and it's really popular. got the cathedral window in there.
And what's nice here is one person can be in the bathtub or shower while other people are getting ready at the sink,
Exactly.
and it still makes it usable.
Yep. Do you like that closet in there?
It's huge. It's bigger than
So
my
when you're
bedroom in
building-
college.
When you're building, that can actually be a third bath. So
Always
you have
remember,
separate, yes.
wash your hands, brush your teeth.
It's 2.5 bathrooms.
This is 2.5, yeah, and with a rough-in in the basement for a third bath if somebody wanted it.
Look at the view downstairs.
Isn't that gorgeous? And you can have this.
You can.
And the last thing. This really is such a beautiful home. Oh my goodness.
So with that, I think I'm going to sign off, kids.
Absolutely. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Say
for
goodbye to
coming.
Terri.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming out to our model in Jerome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely,
So you can learn
absolutely.
more, visit Fischer Homes. It's FISCHER.com.
Very good.
You can call us.